We're now joined by Kansas coach Bill Self. Coach, welcome, and your thoughts about the upcoming season.
Well, we're excited to get started. I think we got an early jump a couple of days ago playing here in the Sprint Center, and that was a great event, and I know our players were excited to play, and it was something that created a lot of energy around both programs, us and Missouri's, and hopefully that'll continue to be the case up until we open up in a couple of weeks. But it's going to be an exciting year without question, and of course in an unbelievable league once again.
Okay, Coach, we got a question on the inside aisle.
Hey, Bill. Vahe. Devante, you anticipated, I don't know if you did anticipate him coming back, but I wonder, I know you encourage guys to go that you go, but can you just take us through the process of your own ups and downs on him coming back?
Well, I don't know that there were any downs. You know, the thing about is with Devante, he had every right to test the waters. I mean, he could have and certainly visiting with his mother quite a bit, and Devante, you know, he likes college. He also wants to see if he can, you know, improve himself and his positioning, much like Frank did last year, by having a big senior year. He could have been in the game to possibly be a draft pick this past year, but certainly, you know, he's got a chance to come back and roll the dice and see if he can, you know, really improve his position and at the same time make sure he gets his degree. So it wasn't anything convincing him to come back. That was a situation in which he came to me and said, I don't think I need to, I'm a little confused. I need to think about it. He talked to his mom. We talked a little bit, and then he came back and said, I think it's in my best interest to stay.
Question on the aisle.
Hey, Bill, you talk sometimes about Kansas math and some things like that. What is there like one illustration of sort of the pressure, kind of how different your job is from a lot of other places in the sport?
Well, I think the, you know, pressures to win is when you have to win games and your players aren't quite as good. So I mean that's real pressure. You know, we've had our fair share of good guys, but I made that as a joke when I first got the job because I remember going and speaking around the state, and numerous fans would tell me, "Hey, this is going to be our year. This is going to be our year." And I'm like going, well, what about these last years? You know, you had Collison, Heinrich, and Gooden, and now we automatically are supposed to be better, you know, after going to back-to-back Final Fours. And so that's where I made the joke about Kansas math. And it's kind of that way with this team. I mean, a lot of people expect this team to be really, really good, which we have a chance. We're not close now, but you know, you lose the National Player of the Year, and you lose you know, a guy that's arguably as good as anybody in the draft last year, then you know, that's a lot to replace. But somehow people are so optimistic always that we should always be better.
Question in the middle.
Coach Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. Just kind of wondering, in today's landscape of the college game, do you find it odd at all, or that all the 5 players on the preseason team are all seniors this year? I mean, it just seems kind of odd.
In the Big 12.
In the Big 12, yes.
Yeah, that is kind of that I would say that's odd. I don't know if it'll play out to be that way because I think we have some really good young players in our league, but you know, most of those preseason polls that are done, you know, people vote on what they know, and so they have obviously have seen these guys coming back. But I do think that's odd, and certainly that means our league's going to be older, and certainly usually with older brings maturity and more consistency and usually better play. You know, you can't have a great league unless you have great young talent. That's obvious, and this league has that. But the foundation of every league and every team should be their veterans. So that's probably good to see.
Question on the aisle.
Good morning, Coach. Carlos Mendez, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Knowing Jamie Dixon like you know him, how hard a charge would you say he's making up in this league?
Well, Jamie, and his staff, they did an unbelievable job at Pittsburgh. So him doing well isn't a surprise to anybody that coaches in our league. We expect him to do well. TCU's a lot of people have thought that's been kind of like a sleeping giant, so to speak, with the Metroplex and the proximity to guys that can make you better. So it certainly appears to everybody in our league that Jamie and his staff have maximized their time there, their brief time there to put together a product that certainly their team has a chance to win our league this year. I mean, they're good, and they were really good last year on how they finished, and winning the NIT obviously gives them unbelievable momentum going forward. And you return all 5 starters and you recruit guys that are probably good enough to start. That's a pretty nice start. So I think they're there to stay. I don't think TCU basketball is going to take a step backwards. We all take steps sideways sometimes based on personnel and things that go on, but TCU is going to be a force in our league for as long as he's there.
Question in the middle.
Kevin Haskin, Topeka Capital Journal. Bill, what level of concern do you have about your depth?
A lot. We played the other day. We played 8 guys because we only have 8 guys on scholarship that are eligible to play, and so we have 4 guys setting out, and so yes, I'm concerned. We get one more at Christmas, but primarily concerned inside. If an injury or major foul problems can obviously put you behind the 8 ball. Not only for one game, but for the long term, and so that is a major concern. Last year, obviously, we were very thin up front as well after Udoka went down, and this year I'm not sure that we could sustain another injury like that and still have a chance to have a great season. So depth is certainly a concern. 8's plenty as long as you're healthy. But whenever injuries start occurring or guys start wearing down, then it can become a concern.
Question in the middle.
Bill, just back to Devante, what's the challenge for him and sort of, I think the term you might have used earlier is becoming the face of the program, and it's kind of, I just wonder also if you could contrast his demeanor with Frank's. We've spent a lot of time contrasting that the last couple of years, but now he's supposed to sort of be that role.
Well, Frank is, Devante is the face of our program. I mean, there's no question about it. Probably as much right now as anybody we've had. Even with Frank last year, we still had Devante, or we had Landon, or we still had Josh or whatnot. But this year coming in, Billy's a talented guy, but he didn't come in with the same hype as what some of our other guys have in the past. And Devante, he's been a pretty consistent performer for 3 years, but in order for us to be really, really good, he has to play to an All-American type level for us. And we think he's very capable of doing that, and certainly he's got the personality that will certainly draw people to him by watching him play.
Final question for Coach. They let you off easy, Coach.
They did. Thank you.